Here is our next inequality example. This one's actually a system of inequalities. So the approach here is, let's graph each inequality like normal, like we would. We'll just shade very lightly though, and then we'll look for where the shading overlaps, and that's going to be the solution set. So let's start with this first one. So x greater than or equal to 0. X greater than or equal to 0. So that's a vertical line, just this x-axis, or sorry, the y-axis. X is greater than 0. It's going to be everything to the right. And so it is greater or equal. So I'm going to, this is kind of hard right there on the axis to see it. I'll kind of sketch. It's not going to be dotted though, it's going to be solid. So I'll just try to kind of color that in a little bit so we can see it. Again, kind of hard right on the axis to see that sometimes. So there's one of our boundaries. Now to shade it, I'm going to use pencil here. Greater than or equal to 0. So everything to the right of that, that would be greater. So I'll just lightly shade that. You may not even see that in the video, but just lightly with pencil I colored it in. Okay, our next one, y is greater than 0. Well, that is I'm going to flip my paper here. That is a horizontal line, greater than or equal, so it's also solid, and it's just going to be our x-axis. So let me just color that in and come back here. So y is greater than 0, so that's everything above this line. So notice so far our overlap is just right here in this first quadrant. So right here, so we can actually ignore everything else. Okay, now let's keep going. So x plus y less than or equal to 8. X plus y less than or equal to 8. Again, let's just put that in slope-intercept form. So y is less than or equal to, if I subtract my x over, minus x plus 8. So minus x plus 8. So 8 is the y-intercept. It's got a slope of -1. So if I go down 8 over 8, I'm just doing that so it'll be nice, going to cross there. Less than or equal, it's also a solid line. And so let me just sketch that in. Okay. Now, less than or equal. So if we want to test, 0, 0 is where I like to test. So 0 is less than 8. 0 is less than 8. Well, that would be true. So that means everything below would be shaded. So far, right here in this little triangle is everything, that's our overlap so far. I can ignore everything else. But we've got one more line. So let's get it here. So y is less than or equal to negative 3x plus 12. Negative 3x plus 12. So 12 actually would be up here a little bit off my graph. That's okay. Slope of negative 3. So if I go down 3 and over 1, 1, 2, 3 and over 1, 1, 2, 3 over 1. I'll just put a few points in there so I can sketch that. In fact, I'll go one more. 1, 2, 3 and over 1. That'll give me a nice, some nice values there. And this is also solid. Okay. Now we're real close. Y is less than. So again, if I test 0, 0, I'm looking at this line. 0, 0. 0 less than or equal to 12. Well, that's true. So everything in here would be shaded. And so, let me just kind of darken this up. You can see my boundaries here. So it's this little quadrilateral. And that's why I like to shade lightly. I'm just looking for where they all overlap. So everything has to overlap in there. If I had a regular pencil, Be a little easier maybe to shade it. I'll just try to shade it quick to illustrate, but hopefully you're getting the idea there. And so that region there that's shaded is the overall solution to our system of equations.